How's it going, everyone? This is Mitchellman here, and Boruto Chapter 43 was absolute fire. It is definitely the best chapter of the Boruto manga today, which is pretty surprising. I thought that chapters 37 and 38 and 35 it'd be hard to surpass those chapters. Those chapters were absolute fire that were game changers for the series. And this one's another game changer, and I think that this is the best chapter yet. It delivered. And before I get into the review, I just want to say, the Boro fight, it's not the best fight. There's some issues going on with it. There are a lot of things I do like about this fight, especially what's going on in this chapter. But overall, the fight, it's not the best. But I will say now, thanks to this chapter, it is going to be a memorable fight. It's going to go down in history as one of the most memorable fights in at least the Boruto section of Naruto, at least part 3 of Naruto. I'm rambling on. But anywho, maybe I should get into the review now if I can even try to review this. I'm probably going to be fanboying the entire time. But if you like this type of content, if you like chapter reviews of the Boruto series, be sure to like and subscribe as I cover this series on a monthly basis. So I probably should get to the review now. So it turns out that Sarada was successful in her attack against Boro in the last chapter, with her using Chidori, and it is successful as she grabs the core right out of Boro's body and destroys it in an awesome panel shot. And Boro, he's pretty upset about this. However, he basically just starts mutating and basically loses control of himself as a result of losing his core. It doesn't kill him, but now he can't regenerate, but he basically turned into a giant tentacle monster. It's kind of a little ridiculous, but whatever. It's probably just a reaction to losing his core, so he's basically going out of control. Kind of looks like the main villain in, I think, The Little Mermaid. I believe the male version of that character. So yeah, he's basically just going out of control. And he's essentially, it seems like he's kind of mindless at first, as he's kind of just thrashing around the area. And that's when Kwaki's like, well, we'll just let him be. We're worn out, so let's just go save Lord Seventh. And even Mitsuki's like, yeah, I actually think the Hokage could take down Boro in this state. Boruto's over here like, yeah, you're right. Why didn't I think of that? So they go over to the seal that Naruto is in, and they try to figure out a way to get him out of there. And they think about breaking it, but it seems like a bit of a bad idea. And that's when Kwaki comes up with the idea of using his space-time ninjutsu karma thing with Boruto that they used to get into that dimension in the first place. And it works. And Naruto is out of that seal, but he's pretty much out of commission still, unfortunately. But before they could figure out what's wrong with Naruto, Boro seems to have regained control of himself and attacks, and he swipes one of his tentacles down, and he seemingly crushes Mitsuki. I'm actually surprised he somehow survived this. And Kwaki retaliates by using his karma seal to blow off one of his arms. Which, yeah, Boro, he's pretty pissed off about this. And he basically smacks Kwaki. He just punches him straight out of the way, and he's out of commission. So Mitsuki and Kwaki are down and out. And Sarada, before she can even land a Firestar-style attack on him, Boro grabs her, and he's about ready to crush her in his hand because he's just so big. In one hand, he's pretty much got her entire body. And Boruto manages to save her by kicking his elbow. And she drops to the ground like a rag doll. And as Boruto tries to help her out and to see if she's okay, Boro, he doesn't even give a damn anymore. He just straight up punches Boruto. Literally just straight up knocks him out. And it seems like this is probably the end for Boruto, as Boro, he's pretty bloodlusted. He doesn't give a damn whether he's the vessel or not. He's just gonna kill him. And before he can actually do that, Boruto seemingly disappears. And I have to say, this panel was straight fire. As Boro, he's confused. He's wondering where Boruto's at. And then we see Boruto hovering above Boro. And he has a horn protruding out of his skull. He's clearly advanced his karma seal to the second state. And Momoshiki has taken over Boruto's body and mind. And I was thinking for a while, especially after the Naruto and Sasuke versus Jigen fight, that once a vessel goes into the second state, the Otsutsuki that's in control of the vessel, or part of the vessel, basically takes over at this point. That was seemingly true in the Jigen fight, as Ashiki seemingly took over Jigen's body and mind at that point, as his personality seemed to change when he went into that second state when he was fighting Naruto and Sasuke, and even referred to Jigen's body while in that state as well. So it was no surprise to me that Momoshiki had taken over Boruto's body in this state. And it is just awesome what's going on, because Boro has already lost an arm to Kawaki. Well, he loses his other arm because basically Boruto kicks it right off. And right before he does that, he says an awesome line. He's like, "Don't get cocky, you inferior creature." One of my favorite quotes from this freaking chapter, and one of my favorite quotes in the series so far. He just kicks Boro's arm straight off, and this guy is armless now. And he kicks him in the gut, and you could tell that, yeah, he got a huge power amp. Like, Boruto is pretty much a freaking monster at this point, making him one of the strongest characters in the series already at just 12, 13 years old. But anywho, he's practically out of chakra considering the fight with Boro in the previous chapter. Boruto was pretty exhausted then. So, seeing Naruto on the ground, Momoshiki goes down and decides to steal some chakra from Naruto. Which, of course, Naruto harbors a ton of chakra. Which, yeah, he gets a lot. And that's when Boro tries to get up and... oh, man. One thing I wanted to note, while this is going on, like, right before he actually got attacked, Boro literally had the fear of God in his eyes. Like, as soon as he sees Boruto in that state, he's like, "Oh, Tsutsuki." Then he loses his arm, and that's pretty much downhill for Boro, as it's pretty much one-sided, as he's pretty much getting destroyed by Boruto and possessed by Momoshiki. And at this point, he's just like flying around, kicking him around at high speeds. And he jumps right on top of him, and even Mitsuki wakes up, and he's wondering what the heck is going on. Like, what's going on with Boruto? He seems like a different person. Even Sarada is commenting on that. He seems like a different person. And Boruto, or Momoshiki through Boruto, is on top of Boro. He's like, "What was that jutsu of his called?" "Oh yeah, that's right, Rasengan." And he just unleashes this gigantic Rasengan that probably is as big as the one that killed him. And Boro is done. Boro is basically, whatever's left of him is down in like this big crater that Boruto made. Man. And that's a pretty big feat in the series, so Boruto already created a crater that big. And then Mitsuki's already freaking out, like, what the heck's going on? Kawaki wakes up and sees Boruto in the air. It's like, what the heck is going on? And that's when Momoshiki through Boruto, they're out of chakra, and he's like, "Well, my dear blue-eyed boy, it's not time yet. It's still a ways away before you lose everything." And that's when he goes out of his state and passes out. And Mitsuki saves Boruto, but he doesn't seem to recall any of it. And they realize that, yeah, maybe karma is a little bit more dangerous than they thought. At least Sarada says that. And yeah, they've saved Naruto, but Boruto seemingly is a little bit concerned about what just happened. And even Mitsuki's concerned, as he's like, "Yeah, Boruto doesn't recall what happened." So I'm wondering if this is going to be something that's questioned in the next chapter. Maybe Mitsuki and Sarada bring it up to Shikamaru and the others, or even Naruto himself. If he wakes up, that is. We then finish off the chapter with Kashin Koji finally making his way to the Car Organization headquarters, with Boro out of the picture now, having fought Boruto and the others and dying, and Code being with the Ten Tails. It seems like Kashin Koji is all clear to face off against Jigen, who hasn't even recovered 10%. So in the next chapter, it looks like we are going to see Kashin Koji versus Jigen. A Jigen that doesn't even have 10% of his power back. So he's pretty much nerfed. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next chapter, if Kashin Koji gets somewhat revealed of who he is, or if he's going to struggle against Jigen even at that level of strength, which would be crazy. And what the heck is Delta up to? It seems like Kashin Koji didn't factor Delta in, so I'm wondering where she's at. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the next chapter. And I gotta say, definitely the best chapter of Boruto so far. It just delivered in every sense of the way. Yeah, Boro has been kind of a lame villain, and maybe I'll make a video on my feelings about him compared to other characters in the series. And yeah, I mean, he's not the best, but you know, this fight's gonna end up being memorable just because this whole scene with Boruto being possessed by Momoshiki and how awesome it is. And man, when this gets animated, it's going to be fantastic. But this was a great chapter and a great way to end this battle. Yeah, I don't think this battle needed to be 4 chapters necessarily, but it is a. I mean, if there's a good way to end this battle, they sure nailed it. Gotta give my hats off to Kodachi and Ikimoto for making this amazing chapter. Interesting enough, I saw a lot of people on Twitter commenting about this and how this new form of Boruto is actually looking kind of similar to Ichigo's final form from Bleach. And I do see the similarities here. I mean, they're different and it's under different circumstances, but I do see them as being comparable, like how Ichigo has his inner hollow that will, whenever he's in a desperate situation, will take control of Ichigo. It is very similar to that, though these are pretty different circumstances considering Boruto got his power from a frickin' god. So there's definitely some different circumstances here, but I do see it as maybe a bit of a tribute. In addition to that, Boruto's hair kind of remind me a little bit of Super Saiyan 2 Gohan from the Cell games. At least a little bit, at least mainly the panel where Boruto, through Momoshiki, calls Boro an inferior creature. It looks very similar, and I even pointed this out on Twitter, but just a little small thing there. I don't know if it was intentional or just a coincidence, but it does look very similar to Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's hair. And of course, Boruto is the son of Naruto, who was the main character in the original series, and Gohan being the son of Goku. It might not be just a coincidence. Seems pretty similar, just saying. Anyways, all jokes aside, I have to say this was a very fantastic chapter. Unquestionably, the best Boruto chapter at all, and it deserves nothing but a 10 out of 10. Like, this chapter was frickin' fire. And yeah, that's all I got for this review. So guys, in the comment section down below, post your thoughts about this chapter. Did you love it like I did? Is there any parts you didn't particularly like? Do you think that Boruto is pretty much Gohan 2.0 or Ichigo's Hollow Form 2.0? Post your thoughts in the comment section down below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you all later.